Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in the NFL, inside the football world. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my NFL dual threat quarterback Mount Rushmore list. So again, not the all-time quarterback Mount Rushmore list, dual threat quarterback Mount Rushmore list. These are my four NFL quarterbacks that are on my dual threat Mount Rushmore list. Starting off with quarterback number one, Steve Young. Steve Young was one of the greatest quarterbacks from the 1990s. I mean, the man was a spectacular player for the San Francisco 49ers at times. Found himself as the best athlete on the damn football field. I mean, he's a former Super Bowl champion as a starter with the San Francisco 49ers. He's a two-time MVP, former Super Bowl MVP, did a lot of great things with the San Francisco 49ers on the offensive side of the ball. And number two, I have Lamar Jackson, who also finds himself as a two-time MVP, wins ball games with his arm, wins ball games with his legs, is one of the most successful regular season quarterbacks in NFL history. And number three, I have Michael Vick. Michael Vick had incredible arm strength in the pocket, can make plays with his legs as well. Holds the record for the most rushing yards as a quarterback in NFL history, can make plays in open space and make defenders look silly. And number four, I have Superman Cam Newton. Cam Newton makes the list, being 6'5", 245 pounds, and was running like a freight train out there, making plays. He's a former MVP in his own right. And that 2015 NFL season has to get him a spot on my NFL dual threat quarterback Mount Rushmore list. But those are the four names that I do have on my dual threat quarterback Mount Rushmore list. Now let's go to a deeper dive here and the reasons why I do have these four players on my list. Now, Steve Young, like I just mentioned, he's one of the best quarterbacks from the 1990s. I'm talking about guys like Troy Aikman that played, John Elway that played, Randall Cunningham that played, Brett Favre that played, Dan Marino that played, Joe Montana. There were so many good quarterbacks in the 1990s. It's unreal. But Steve Young was in the pack of being one of the best quarterbacks from the 1990s. And Steve Young was one of the most athletic players on an NFL Sunday, Thursday, Monday. Anytime he was on the field, Steve Young was doing his damn thing. And he has an incredible arm, could make plays with his leg, and him being Joe Montana's backup with the San Francisco 49ers for a few years paid off. I mean, that was where, if he stayed, I mean, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but if he stayed there, would we really be talking about Steve Young being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? And would he be a part of my dual threat quarterback list? No. But Steve Young, his passing ability, his rushing ability was remarkable and phenomenal. A clutch player as well, two-time MVP, two-time Offensive Player of the Year, former Super Bowl MVP. Steve Young did his damn thing. And he has to be recognized on my dual threat Mount Rushmore list. Now, quarterback number two on my list is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is growing on me as a player. I mean, he's a two-time MVP. He's really one of the best players in the National Football League today. Top 10 player in all skill positions, all positions across the board in the National Football League. But Lamar Jackson is starting to prove a lot of doubters wrong with his ability to make plays as a passer in the pocket. So I'm proud of the growth that Lamar Jackson has shown as a passer. Realistically, he could be on his way to winning a third MVP. We shall see. But Lamar Jackson is one of the most exciting quarterbacks to watch in the modern era. I mean, him in the RPO game has been so successful over the years since he's taken over being the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. And I have to say, he has one of the most successful winning percentage in NFL history. I mean, Lamar Jackson has a 74.3 winning percentage with an impressive 23-1 record against NFC opponents. That is top tier level of things from Lamar Jackson. A human joystick to watch on NFL Sundays. Lamar Jackson's that guy. He's number two on my list. Now, number three is Michael Vick. Now, Michael Vick is actually one of the fastest players in NFL history. And that's crazy to say when Mike Vick playing at the quarterback position. But Michael Vick helped revolutionize what it's like to be a dual threat quarterback in the NFL. He paved the way for guys like Lamar Jackson, RG3, Cam Newton, Josh Allen. The list goes on and on of how much that Michael Vick really revolutionized the game of him being a dual threat quarterback. But Michael Vick, he had that speed, that his arm strength was raw, true raw arm strength talent, and his agility and his ability to make plays in open space, make defenders look silly. I mean, Michael Vick was a true guy to watch and enjoy play the game of football. But it sucks due to the fact that he got himself in trouble with the law and the dog fights. He found himself being in jail from 2007 to 2009, which really was in the prime of Michael Vick's career. I mean, when he got out of jail, he was still a good player, but not at the level, in my opinion, when he played with the Philadelphia Eagles, the level that he once was with the Atlanta Falcons. But man, prime Michael Vick was something to be happy and be joyful to watch every single week in the NFL. Now, number 4. Actually, I have one more thing to say about Michael Vick, actually. I am very surprised that Michael Vick never won an MVP, but he does hold the record, like I said a few moments ago, for the most rushing yards as a quarterback in NFL history with 6,109 rushing yards as an NFL quarterback. That's insane, and that shows how much of an impact he had as a dual threat quarterback, making plays with his legs, helping revolutionize the game today for a lot of young dual threat quarterbacks. But last on my list is Cam Newton. Like I just said, Cam Newton being 6'5", 245 pounds, moving around so fast. How does a man that big move around so fast? I mean, Cam Newton in his prime was something to look out for. And that 2015 NFL MVP season, that dominant season where he helped the Panthers go 15-1, they were just one game away from losing the Super Bowl to the Denver Broncos that year. But that 2015 MVP year solidified Cam Newton for being one of the greatest dual threat quarterbacks in NFL history. I mean, he had this 2015 MVP season, he had 35 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 636 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns with the 15-1 record. That's pure dominance across the board. You couldn't question him making plays with his arm. You couldn't question him making plays with his legs. He was just beating you pillar to post. And realistically, he didn't really have the best offensive weapons around him for that 2015 NFL season. I mean, Greg Olsen was there. I mean, that's just pure dominance of what Cam Newton displayed that year. But in all seriousness, those are my top four quarterbacks that I made my list for the best dual threat quarterbacks in NFL history. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.